This is WGRG 100.5 FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC broadcasting standards. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's talk Geneseo. Two guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but to talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and City Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts the blah in blah, blah, blah like these guys do.
And I'm the Keith Kennett part of the duo. Brandon's on the other mic over there. Good Friday morning to you, Brandon.
Happy Friday. How are you on this lovely day?
Well, you know, I survived that extra day of February yesterday. So feeling a little sassy, maybe.
You're
I don't
not
know.
one of those leap day birthdays, are you?
No, I am not. Although I did think of that yesterday. If you were, you know, there are people that are born on that day. I guess you just picked like the 28th or the 1st to celebrate typically, but
Yeah.
it makes you a little extra special.
It would make you like 12, 13 years old now if you were.
Right. And as we get into it, we have experts here. If we had to do it in dog years or something, they would be able to calculate it for us. So that's very fortunate. But I think our listeners and our viewers, if you're watching on the stream or what have you, will probably recognize one of the voices this morning, or certainly one of the faces. But Brandon, as usual, we'll turn it over to you to kind of start things off.
Yep. Our guests today are from the Henry County Humane Society. We're joined by Linda Vanderleest and Aaron. Aaron, you know, you're going to have to say your own last name today.
Oh, right then. Knoxted.
I'm not comfortable doing it. I'm sorry.
I feel the same about yours. I do.
Okay. And a little bit of listener insight. That's why I have Brandon do that. Because, yeah, if I tried to pronounce that, it would have been very unpleasant.
We would have gotten through it. It would have been fine.
The other day in a meeting at City Hall, we had the chief try to pronounce your last name, and it didn't go well. So I was going to stay away from it this morning.
That's all right. That's all right.
So both Linda and Aaron, beyond being on the board for the Humane Society, are very active in our community and have done a lot. So as always, first-time guests, we like to have you guys introduce yourselves. Maybe some people out there don't know you. If you could tell us a little bit about who you are and some of the things that you've been involved with and are proud of in Geneseo.
Well, good morning, and I want to begin by thanking WGRG for inviting us in this morning. I'm Melinda Vanderleest. I have been involved in several community activities throughout my 30-plus years of living in the community. I've been involved right now with the Humane Society. I'm active on the board for the country club. Active at my church, also on the board for marriage and family. Just have found a lot of different avenues in my retirement that I'm able to be a part of now that I'm retired. When I was still working, had to pay the bills, and so now I have an opportunity to give back even more to the community.
Awesome. Aaron?
Well, my name's Erin Knoxted. I grew up here in Geneseo. I'm a graduate of the high school here, class of 1999, and then left for a period of time to get some schooling done, and ended up being able to come back and have served as the county administrator here for the last 5.5 years. In addition to that, I am also currently serving as the interim tourism bureau director, trying to get that all the paperwork done on that end. And as soon as we get that done, which is hopefully very soon, we're going to be hiring a tourism bureau director that will replace me. I also serve on the animal shelter board with Linda here, and on the Geneseo Educational Foundation board as well.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I know we just kind of put you on the spot, gave you about a 1-minute prep time to put a spiel together on yourself. Never a comfortable thing to do, at least for me.
And should give a shout out to Linda's, maybe a little modest, but helps out a familiar voice at Channel 50 and what have you when we do volleyball. And I think we've roped you into other things over the years. I'm not sure. Maybe basketball a couple of times. I'm not exactly sure. But also former mayor and alderman here in Geneseo as well. So,
yeah. Very modest.
Yeah. But now back to Brandon.
All right, so we'll get into the Humane Society a little bit here. If you guys could, maybe we could start by just giving a background of the Humane Society, what exactly you guys do and how it's structured.
We have a governing board that currently has 10 members on it. They are the executive function for the society. And we do meet monthly and have a agenda that's put together that addresses everything from finances to fundraising to animal care to recruiting volunteers. There's an array of things that are critical in the function of the shelter in Geneseo. It is a no-kill shelter, the only one in Henry County. We have been used several times for animals that are picked up along the road that are abandoned, that have been left to kind of fend on their own and have arrived at the shelter. And we have always embraced them and done our best to take care of their veterinary needs, their health needs, and ultimately find them a forever home. It is a non-for-profit organization, so not-for-profit means that we run the shelter basically on donations and in-kind gifts, donations of not only money but supplies. And we try to keep our operations pretty thin because of this, out of respect for the shelter, out of respect for the animal, and in the end putting them first in our decision making.
I think that was a great summary of it. I think you forgot to mention, though, that you're the president of the board and have been doing just an amazing job in that capacity, I think, in achieving some of the goals of some of our long-term board members, some dreams even, through pursuing grants through the city and having those conversations. And that has helped to, if you haven't been out to the shelter, you should come check it out and maybe walk a dog, get trained to walk a dog while you're out there, help volunteer. But we have some new dog runs that were put in the back that have really helped for the quality of life of the animals that are out there. And Linda was instrumental in helping get that grant. So I just wanted to make sure that was mentioned. So.
The actual shelter got a facelift years ago too, right? Or was it a brand new facility? I mean, a handful of years ago.
Right. It was in-kind donations by several community members. If you're ever at the shelter and you enter the main doorway, to your right, we finally got the plaque up that honors those people who made that new shelter possible. And also when you enter the door, you're going to see a plaque that also gives tribute to the many organizations in the city that helped us put the dog runs up. Because while the funding was in place, we were pretty trim on our request, and so a lot of volunteers actually put up the structure itself, the new fencing. Mm-hmm. And so it's always been my challenge personally and in different avenues that I volunteer in to be fiscally responsible and not overtask funding areas. And so that was one of the things. While it required a lot of people to spend a lot of time out there donating their time, we got an absolutely beautiful outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And pretty much most people probably know where it's at, but the facility itself is located up near the burn pile, and if you don't know where that is, it's off of Roos Hill Road on the far north end of town. And actually up there is that's where the dog park is located adjacent to it. There's some hiking paths and stuff up there as well. But yeah, the facility itself is maybe 8 years. How long
I think
ago?
About 8 years.
And a replacement to the previous facility that needed replacing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it was due, like I said, in large part to the previous board in getting that rolling. And it's just when you look at the in-kind donations that are received from this community, we're pretty grateful to be able to put a structure like that up and have an awful nice facility. You probably heard in the news lately that, there's some shelters in the area located in an adjacent state that I think they asked for an increase of $1 million in their budget that they receive from the city where the shelter operates. Even one half of that for us would change the dynamics for our animals out of the shelter 100-fold.
Yep.
So talk to us about the dog runs. What's the difference, I guess, for folks that haven't been out there? Can anybody bring their dog out there? What's the difference between, some cities have dog parks. Is it the same, or what? How does it work?
Our dog park is open,
It's open.
to the community. We would like to do some updates. We need to do some tree trimming. Our road has eroded pretty drastically. So it would be our goal in soliciting some donations to help with that upkeep, do a little bit of maintenance on it.
Yeah. Yep. I think the difference between the dog runs and the dog park. So the dog park is open to everyone. Anyone can come out there and enjoy that facility. The dog runs are for the shelter pets. So the animals that have been brought to us to allow them to have access to outside in a secure fashion, and for our volunteers and members of our board to be able to let them out in kind of mass, to be able to let multiple dogs out at a time to help with some of the efficiencies out there. But just like Linda said, please come out there and enjoy that. I've taken my dogs out there several times. They love running around and meeting new dogs, and it's really a secure park. So you have to go through a gate to get in. But yeah, and if you do feel so inclined, or if you have any gravel that you'd like to donate, please give the shelter a call and let us know. But
I was a couple times that I've been out there, I visited with the people who utilize the dog park. And we have one couple that comes over from Kewanee. They're willing to make the 30-minute drive to come here because they have an area where they can let their dog run and kind of exercise their instincts, be able to go and run free and do those types of things. And they said, and I'll just take them by their word, that, they can't find a site like this between Kewanee and here. And they said the anticipation that their dog has, the minute they turn down Ruse Road, their dog knows where they're going.
yep.
And so everything they can do to keep the windows up and keep the dog in is critical for about the remaining quarter mile to get back to the dog run. So we love that we have that. It was a former alderman who really was a driving force behind that. That was Ed Diener in getting that dog park put up. And, we're still, I don't know how many years, Keith, this community is reaping multiple benefits from that action.
Right. So let's get into, obviously, one of the important things that you guys do is adopt out the animals. What does that process look like? What does it take to adopt a dog or a cat?
I think the first step is application process. So you can submit an application through our website. Please do allow us some time to process it. We are running on volunteers, so sometimes it takes a minute to get an answer back, but we do have it and we are processing those. From that point on, the animal that you are interested in, if that animal is still available, you will be contacted, and then if your application is approved, we'll set up a meet and greet. And then you can come out there. If you have any animals that you would like that animal to meet, please let us know so that we can accommodate for that as well. So that way we can see the interaction between you and the animal, make sure that it's a good fit. The last thing that we want to see is an animal come back to us. So we really take this process very seriously. But that being said, if you're at all interested, please look at our website, check out the animals, come volunteer. We've got a lot of cats that love to be pet. So come volunteer and see if maybe an animal is going to be a right fit for you as well. But
and to Aaron's point about volunteering, we're kind of in desperate need of some volunteers right now at the shelter. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of clarify what does it mean to be a volunteer at the shelter. I think a lot of people think it requires a lot of time. our expectations are, pretty moderate at best. Because I have found, just from personal experience, to go out for 2 hours once a week, every week, you know that it's going to impact the life of the animals that you spend time with. And if we could get just even let's just say 50 people, 50 new volunteers, to give 2 hours once a week for an entire month, just pick a day that you want to come out. We can fill time slots for almost all of the light hours that we have in a day. That's with 50 people.
I'm looking at 2 right here. Keith,
Yeah.
Brandon,
You
hello.
and me, Brandon. I'm good with the dogs, not so much the cats. I love
Hey.
the cats too, but
I'm with you. I do better with the dog walking, for sure. Yeah.
I guess I'm the cat guy in the room.
There you go. We've got both then.
Yeah, we got 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Awesome.
But yeah, and to start that process, it's pretty simple. There's an online application for volunteers. If you're not very fluent with the computer and you just like the paper application, those are available at the shelter too. There's someone at the shelter, and it's open from 4 to 6. That's when we like to field times for adoptions. But if you call and make an appointment, you can come at a different time if it fits better. We do have a shelter manager that's on staff from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. And so she would be the one that would be taking your phone calls. But we highly recommend, just because it eases in the process, that if you want to volunteer, you want to adopt anything, start first with an application and then a phone call or a contact directly with the shelter.
Yep. And that phone number is 309-944-4868. That's the shelter number. And then the email is info@henrycounty, I'm going to look, humanesociety.org.
and website address and Facebook. Do you know those offhand, or if not, contact Brandon or I or anyone at City Hall. We'll get you the information on that.
Google it.
Google,
Yeah,
Google works
Yep,
too.
Yep. Bring it right up. I'm Facebook friends and follow the Humane Shelter, so
What could be better?
invite that as well. Yes, please.
So
And-
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lynn.
I'd like to just say a couple more things about the fundraising. I don't think a lot of people know that since we are a charitable, a place where you can donate your charitable giving, if you're 70 and a half and you own an IRA, you will qualify to use your charitable required distribution in giving that portion to the shelter. And we also need fosters. And we have a special fund. It's called the Dutch Fund. You can do a bit of background research into how the Dutch Fund was established. But this right now, if you were to donate to the Dutch Fund, it is designed to help the special needs of our animals that we take in. We had 2 dogs that were dropped off at the shelter by Henry County Animal Control that were severely emaciated. So the Dutch Fund is used to buy them special feeding trays, special watering trays, and to meet the special needs that especially emaciated dogs have when they come in. And so, it's just something to consider that I think maybe some people, given the knowledge, maybe would relook at including the shelter in that charitable donation.
Yeah.
Do you can kids volunteer at the shelter, or are there any requirements on who can actually come out and be an official volunteer with you guys?
Yes, so you have to be 18 and older to not have a parent with you. I believe that is.
Yep, that's for dogs.
Yep, that's for dogs. I'm not sure about the
If you're a
cats.
freshman in high school
Yep, okay.
and older, you can fill out a volunteer application and turn it into the shelter, and then we'll get something set up for you. Anyone that's younger than high school age, to work with the cats only, would need to be accompanied by their parent. But if you're a freshman in high school or older, I mean, I talked to one of the teachers here this morning, and we're going to set up an opportunity for his kids to come out and see what enrichment means with the cats. And so we love our volunteers right now that are high school age, because they have the time, and you know, the kids that I've talked to, they want to be there, and so that's really encouraging for us.
Yeah.
Great. Tell us about, do you guys have any events or fundraising opportunities coming up, or just general things going on in the community?
Well, we've got a real fun event coming up, and the city has allowed us to use City Park for it. So this is great, guys. We have a doggy Easter egg hunt fundraiser coming up. That is going to be on Saturday, March 30th. It's going to be at the Geneseo City Park. Registration will begin under the shelter at 12:30, starting at 12:30, and then the Easter egg hunt, dog hunt, begins at 1. It was a real fun event the last few times that we've had it. We're really excited about a different space that allows for a little bit more parking and hopefully some more ease to get to the event. Again, if you have any questions, please email us or give us a call at the shelter, and we will get you some more information. But again, that was Saturday, March 30th at Geneseo City Park. Registration begins at 12:30.
Yep, and Chief Disterhoff reminded me to let dog owners know they're coming to the Easter egg hunt to make sure their animals are leashed. That's really an important element.
I did. Thank you. That was a very crucial element as well. Yes.
What's in the eggs?
Oh, dog treats, I believe.
Dog treats.
Yeah.
Dog toys.
So. Yeah.
Yes. So anything that
fun goodies. Yeah.
That it was interesting. Being only on the board now for a year, I went to the first one last year, and it was interesting to see how the dogs can sniff out the best treats. I mean, they just have a nose for the best treats, and so some of the smaller treats and the eggs were kind of left behind, but they could find the toys, and they could
just like my kids finding the ones with the dollar bills instead of the quarters, and from my mother-in-law.
There's no treats for the dog owners that are going to be hidden?
Oh, I don't think so. The dogs will get those too.
This is all about the animals here, I guess, right?
It is. Okay. It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you guys would like to share?
One other thing that we do really encourage people to do, kitten season's coming up. And we're going to need a plethora of fosters as we enter that season. And so fostering an animal, I tell people one of two things. First, you help the shelter in offering your home as a foster. And a second point I think that's important to drive home is that this is a good way to start the process of, do you want to adopt? Fostering an animal may lead to being able to make some good decisions about, am I ready to adopt? Can I afford to adopt? Is this the animal that's right for my family? Is this the animal that's right for my home? Those types of things. And so foster's kind of a good way to get started in the adoption process. And if you like cats and you're interested in helping us foster some kittens, that will be a pretty big thing for the shelter that'll be coming up here in the next couple months.
Kittens are so cute.
Sounds like Erin's going to take some home.
I do like kittens. I do.
And I know it varies, but typically how many dogs and cats would you have in the shelter? On average.
Yeah, we still have the 5 breeder surrenders in foster.
And then the two pups that are in pretty rough shape that were dropped off by animal control. Right. And then, oh gosh.
We probably have a dozen in foster right now. Yep. And all of our kennels are full. Yep. With dogs that are on site. And then if you go into the cat room, it can vary from having 2 that are kind of in waiting to be put into the general population, so they've either been surrendered or the police or county animal control have found them and brought them to the shelter. So we have a room that is designed to meet their medical needs is full right now. We have an intake room that has 1 cage that's open, and all of our transition kennels are full right now, and I would say there's probably 10 to 12 cats in each of the rooms, the general population rooms.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here today.
Well, thank you guys for having us.
And again, up on Roos Hill Road, north end of town, dog park right next door, and anything you do to volunteer or donate or what have you. It's really an incredible service that you guys provide to the community, and It's kind of one of those things. I don't want to say that can be kind of more easily taken for granted or what have you, but it can, and may we never do that, and recognize that the donations and of time and certainly financial are critical to being able to maintain that. So hats off to you guys for doing that.
And don't forget, at the Easter egg hunt, you don't have to own a dog to come.
Oh, yeah.
We can use volunteers. We can use people to help us put out eggs. We can use some general oversight. We're going to be, the park's going to be pretty busy that day with 2 different egg hunts. And so anybody, if you're an animal lover, even if you just want to help the Humane Society, please feel free to come out and be a part of that activity. It's a great community joint partnership, and we're pretty excited about this opportunity.
We should mention that your guys' hunt will be around the south part of City Park, around the band shell area.
Yep.
Is where you guys will meet.
Yep.
That's where
There'll be
we'll
another hunt going on the north part.
Well, there you go. There you can get your snacks at that one then.
Oh, that's true.
There we
That's
go.
right.
Yeah.
And is it more like wild animals or something on the other side?
No,
or how does that?
it's a kids' eat.
Oh, a kids event.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
that probably makes more sense.
Yeah, VFW will be sponsoring one for kids on the north side of the park that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Also, if follow us on Facebook for more fun events that we're planning as well.
And you can also find the animals you can adopt there. The link that we use is through Pet Finder.
Yes.
And so Pet Finder is pretty easy to navigate if you want to look at adoptable
Will the
pets.
following students please come to the front
All right.
office? Ray
Well,
Thornton,
the
Dominic
school
Henry,
announcements means that we're about to wrap
That's
up.
our signal. Linda's ears perk up, kind of like the old days.
It got me a couple of the bells ringing. Yeah.
Do want to mention a couple things coming up today. We're pretty excited. Today is a big day down at the landing area, Oakwood and State Street. We've talked about it a lot on this show. Beautification project down there. We call it the historical landing area. We're not done with construction down there yet, but we do have the new city sign placed down there and the 3 flagpole system. Today at 1 p.m. we will raise the flags for the first time. So we have the sponsors of the area joining us: Springfield Armory, Miller Foundation, Daughters of the American Revolution, Geneseo chapter, and a lot of other community members that have helped get us to the point where we're at now. The national anthem will be performed by Ellie Shoemaker down there at 1 o'clock. Should be kind of a neat event to raise the flags for the first time. If you can make it, stop by. Cemetery cleanup, March 15th through the end of March. That is, we like to put the word out everywhere we can. If you don't have items attached to permanent monuments in the cemeteries, they will be cleaned up in the grass areas. So make sure you remove anything that's not permanently attached to a monument up there if you don't want it disposed of. And then we have the Chamber of Commerce's Art Walk coming up. I can't believe it's March already, but this is really their first big event, outdoor event of the year, April 27th. So put that on the calendar. It'll be the first big one outside in Geneseo this spring. That's all I've got, Keith.
All right. Well, fine job as always, Brandon. And kind of, as we say, when we hear the announcements, that's our cue to kind of start wrapping it up. But we appreciate everybody that's listened or watched on the stream, and appreciate our guests for coming in, spending time with us this morning. It wasn't so bad. You survived. At some point, we're going to have T-shirts made that say, "I survived the interview."
I like it.
Let's
I wanna
talk
come
Geneseo.
back. Yeah.
We budgeted for that, so probably in about 10 years or so.
Excellent.
We'll have those available. But again, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
listening. And this is
Thank you, Brandon and Keith, too.
You're welcome. And